Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. In today's video, we are talking about what Enzo, Maresca and Levi Colwill said in their post-match interview after the Nottingham Forest win, which secured Chelsea Champions League football. Not only that, Caicedo joins an elite few Chelsea players after breaking a record this season. And when it comes to Chelsea signing a striker, the talks are heating up and the hunt to sign a new striker is on. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, James Ollie has reported what Enzo Maresca said when it was responding to critics who doubted how young Chelsea's team is, their mentality, etc. And he said, in English, I would say F off to all of them. And the expanded version was, unfortunately for them, they've all been wrong. For the ones that have all the answers to everything, so F off to all of these people. Well, Levi Colwill said something very, very similar. He said that, a lot of people have been talking poo about this team and about the players all season, and they've all been proven wrong. And do you know what? Fair play to Maresca, the boys. They have been dealing with critics all season, whether it's from our own fan base, rival fans, pundits, everywhere. They've been dealing with critics all season. And look, we don't want to be a club that celebrates Champions League football like Arsenal did for so many years. However, this season, it's the importance of getting Champions League football, and it's something that we've missed on for the last few years, 3 years, I think, in total. We can be excited that we are going back into it, for sure. We can celebrate the fact that we have the youngest squad in the league and they've managed to overcome this death run we had where it was Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Forest, where no one expected us to get points. I did say right at the start that I think we're going to pick up more points than we expect we're going to. And fortunately, we did. I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm just saying, no one really expected us to do it. They wrote us off weeks, if not months before the last run-in. We managed to turn it around and secure Champions League football. And that's something to be proud of. It's something that this young team can look at. You could see how much it meant to them after the game. And I'm completely in agreement with Maresca and Colwill saying, like, look, you can talk all you want, but we've proved you wrong. Let us have our moment. We now have set a standard for ourselves that we can now build on for next season. Not only that, when it comes to the summer transfer window and how aggressive Chelsea board want to be in the market, they have more funds from Champions League. They're going to have more funds from the Club World Cup. No matter how far in we get, we're going to get more funds from that. Front of shirt sponsor. Our top targets is something that we can aggressively go at now because we have the money, we have the financial headroom. We now have everything laid out for us to really capitalize on, to strengthen this squad going into next season. So look, I am super happy for Maresca. I'm happy for the boys. They managed to achieve it. They did it in a very clinical way where we got results where we weren't expected to get results. We showed grit, passion, determination. We got it over the line. And yesterday's game, yes, it had Chelsea fans' nerves going all over the place, and rightfully so. It was the final day of the season. But at the end of the day, when all the footballs had been kicked, the whistles had been blown, Chelsea didn't need to rely on other results. It was a bonus. They went out and got the job done themselves. They executed the game plan perfectly, and you have to respect that. Now, do I think Maresca is going to take us on an invincible run and a quadruple next season? Of course not, right? But I have been very fair, I suppose, of seeing both sides. Yes, I've been frustrated with Maresca this season. I'm not hiding away from that. I'm not saying that he is the perfect manager. He's definitely done things wrong throughout the season. He is also inexperienced and learning with the squad and learning on the job, which I think is a kind of testament to him securing us top four, really. When you think about it, take a step back. And there are also fans that just want him gone, and that's fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not discrediting that. I just have to say that you have to, give credit where it's due, and I feel like credit is due for Maresca and the team for getting this over the line. So congratulations to the boys. I'm still buzzing after yesterday's result, but I thought it was very interesting to bring this up because they were being very vocal of, like, everyone wrote us off. Everyone said we were too young, too inexperienced, we couldn't get it done, and we had one of the hardest, if not the hardest, run-ins out of all the teams fighting for Champions League going into the final 5 or 6 games of the season, and we managed to get it done. Beating Liverpool, beating Forest, beating United. Yes, we didn't beat Newcastle, but we managed to get the points. More points than was expected of us in that run. So fair play to them, enjoy it. And now we get onto the exciting stuff of the summer transfer window. But one thing worth mentioning is Moises Caicedo is the first Chelsea midfielder to play 38 out of 38 league games since Frank Lampard in 2004-2005, which is wild, by the way. Caicedo is also the first Chelsea player to achieve this feat since Cesar Azpilicueta in 2018-2019. How many times this season have we said, one, that Caicedo is incredible? We know that. Best DM in the world currently. right? Rodri was injured for a lot of the season, so mate, Caicedo's been outstanding. He's been so good and integral to how Chelsea play. We are fully aware of this. But how many times have we said we need some cover for Caicedo because if something happens to him, we fold like deck chairs. We really do. And this is just something that is, again, should be celebrated. This guy has such an incredible engine on him that he's been able to play 38 out of 38 league games, plus other competitions too. He's played Conference League, he's played FA Cup. Admittedly, we didn't go far in a few cup competitions, but he's played so many games for Chelsea this season with no cover, no rest. This guy is an absolute warrior with an incredible engine on him, and I'm hoping that not only can he continue his form going into next season, which I feel that he will just develop. He's doing it on the job, and he's just getting better and better week on week. But we can also give him some rest when needed. We're going to have people like Asugo. You have Santos back next season. So there's going to be a bit more Lavia if he stays fit as well. Enzo Fernandez, you're going to have this nice rotation, hopefully, if they can stay fit within that middle section of the double pivot or the advanced eight or whatever it is. So hopefully give Moises Caicedo a little bit of rest when he needs it. I mean, this season we have absolutely ran him into the ground. He stayed fit and put in some unbelievable shifts game after game, week after week. But that's just an incredible feat. 38 out of 38 league games since Lampard in 2004-2005 from midfield, and since 18-19 of Cesar Azpilicueta. So big congratulations to Caicedo, man. That is an incredible engine. I feel incredibly lucky and blessed that we have him playing for Chelsea. Yes, he was weighed down with this huge price tag, but he is definitely showing his worth this season. Unbelievable player. Rudy Galletti has reported that Chelsea and Bayern Munich are all monitoring developments regarding Milan winger Rafael Leao closely, with each side registering concrete interest in recent weeks. Now look, we spoke about this in previous videos. Will Chelsea get Leao? Will they not? I don't know. I really don't know. Concrete interest is a good thing. It means we are actually considering it. Whether or not it goes to negotiations and talks, we don't know. I'm assuming that it will, just to see what sort of the final pricing will be, right? The transfer fee, the wages, the agent fees, the compensation, whatever it may be. The one thing that gives me a lot more positivity going into this window is the fact we have Champions League football to offer, the fact that we have more money than we would have had if we didn't get Champions League football. The Club World Cup helps financially as well. So we have a big pot of money to strengthen in key areas. I don't think that this squad needs a complete overhaul. I think we are 3 or 4 players away from really nailing down an incredible squad that can compete for trophies across the board. The Premier League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. Anything that they can throw at us. Because I feel like the squad is at a very good level. It's very stable this season with what Maresca's done and what the players have developed on the job doing. But we just need them improvements. We need a number 9. We need a centre-back. We need to fix the left wing position because it's still a mystery in terms of who's going to be staying, who's going to be playing next season. We've got some reinforcements coming in already in the likes of Esteval, Santos, Petrovic, Asugo. These players are obviously going to strengthen in key areas, but we need to go out and get a clinical number 9, an experienced centre-back. The left wing position needs sorting, and the goalkeeping situation needs fulfilling. Whether that's Petrovic coming in as number 1, whether it's we offload a load that are on the books and go buy a world-class one, I don't know. I feel like Petrovic will be Chelsea's number 1 next season if he comes in and fights for his position because of the incredible season he's had at Strasbourg in terms of development. I feel like he walks into our Chelsea team and knocks Sanchez out. However, Sanchez has been very good since the turn of 2025. More clean sheets, less mistakes. His distribution is still woeful. We know that. The way he's catching crosses and clearances are so much better. He's really turned a leaf. Not saying that he deserves to be number 1. I just feel like it's worth mentioning. Again, to be fair, giving him the credit where it's due. But when it comes to Rafael Leao, it would be a superstar signing in my opinion. There's a lot of people that feel like he's not that good. He's not had a great season. He's going to cost a lot of money in terms of wages. It's a waste of money in terms of the player, in terms of the investment and what we get. I think Rafael Leao is a serious sign of intent if we go after someone like him. That we want to bring some of the world-class talent to Chelsea. We still do, whether it's proven people with experience, whether it's youngsters that have a lot of potential, and having that nice balance of experience and inexperience within the team. I would take Leao all day long. I think he's an incredible winger, and he's such an upgrade on what we currently have at that left wing position. Think about it. Mudryk, who can't play and is still developing, right? And Sancho, whether or not we keep him or not. But even if you keep Sancho, cool. You bring on someone like Leao, completely different profile. Likes to be high and wide, likes to beat a man, likes to be direct, likes to go at goal, right? Yes, Noni's playing very well on the left-hand side. I really like that. It's like I've said this many times, it feels like you unlock a brand new character, like you do in a video game when Noni plays on the left-hand side. But predominantly he's going to play on the right-hand side, right? It's nice to have that sort of another dimension to your game where you can play either side. It's fantastic. Same with Pedro Neto. You can play as a false nine, left or right, and that's great to see. But having someone like Leao for me is a serious bit of intent of like, we want to bring superstars in. We have the financial headway to go make these sort of signings. I personally would focus all of that in the number 9 position and then worry about everything else. But that's just me, and I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below of what you would do. Would you be interested in Leao? Would you move on to another left-wing target? Would you focus the funds in a different position? Curious to know your thoughts. Plettigol have reported that any potential Manchester United move to sign Victor Gyokeres is now practically off the table. And this is very important because the next report about Gyokeres kind of goes together, but we need to talk about this. In terms of the world needing a number 9, the shortlist is very, very small. It's Osimhen, Gyokeres, Sesko are the main 3. Then you've got the likes of Delap. Isaac isn't going anywhere. He's already come out and said that Newcastle qualified, I'm staying. So he's off the table. It means the pool is even shorter. We know so many clubs are interested in Gyokeres. Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United. Main 3, really. They're also interested in Sesko. They're also interested in Osimhen. Like, everyone's interested in the same number 9s. That's what I'm trying to say. What's massive is United don't have Champions League football next season. They've had an abysmal season, the worst in their Premier League history, right? You could probably stretch to say the worst in their history. I don't know too much about the far, far back of Manchester United's history, but the worst season historically in the Premier League for sure. They have no European football. So it eliminates one of our competitors in terms of signing someone like Gyokeres. I can't see an Osimhen, a Gyokeres, a Delap, or anyone like that going to Manchester United in the state that they are in, because they're going to be offloading players. They're not going to be the same as the traditional Manchester United that we still know and think about, that we have over the last 20, 30 years. They're not that team anymore, unfortunately. And this season was a harsh reality for some to showcase and see, wait, hang on a minute. This is not Manchester United that we all know and think about, right? The fear that they struck into people, the tough team to play. I mean, yeah, they've had a couple of performances this season, but didn't they lose like 21 games or something silly like that this season? This is fantastic news because I'm going to read you the next report about Victor Gyokeres, which goes hand in hand with this one. Sky Sports have reported that Victor Gyokeres will leave Sporting this summer, and the 26-year-old is linked with Arsenal and Chelsea and has an agreement to allow him to leave for less than his £84 million release clause. When you pair those two together, with Manchester United, that deal's off the table. That just leaves Chelsea and Arsenal to sign Gyokeres, who has an agreement with Sporting that he can leave this summer, so it's happening. He's going somewhere this summer, and it's less from the £84 million release clause, which I suppose is a goodwill gesture from Sporting, saying you can leave for less than that release clause, which I think is a good move. They know that someone's coming in for Gyokeres this summer, and I feel it's down to Gyokeres to decide, out of the two clubs that are the most interested, what package is going to benefit him the most. I would absolutely love to see Victor Gyokeres in a Chelsea shirt. I think he would be an absolute monster, goal-scoring machine in Maresca's system. And there's some people that prefer Osimhen to Gyokeres, and I get it. I'd take either, if I'm being honest. I would take anyone at this point. We just need a proven number 9. Facts. So that's just what we need, right? But to be able to be in a position now where we've got Champions League, the Club World Cup, in terms of finances coming in, with the money we're going to generate by selling players, we're going to have a lot of money to go spend big and break the structures on a number 9. And Gyokeres is the type of player you do it on. So is Osimhen, don't get me wrong. Now, I feel like the difference between Osimhen and Gyokeres is ultimately going to come down to wages. All right, Osimhen, from what we've last seen, been offered ludicrous wages from Galatasaray and from Saudi. Is he going to turn them down? I don't know. Would you? Would you turn down 45 million euros a year for 3 years? You'd be a strong person to say no. But when it comes to Gyokeres, yes, he might be on higher wages, but we nowhere near what Osimhen wants in the western side of the world, which is like 400k a week. So after tax, he takes home like 200 plus a week or whatnot. It'd be interesting to see what Gyokeres wants. I think you'll be paying £250,000 a week on him, minimum. I think the guy has scored something like 130 goals in the last 3 years or something stupid. He's just an absolute machine. And I would love to see Chelsea sign him. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Would you take Victor Gyokeres at Chelsea? Would you rather go for someone else? Do you feel like we can get him for a good amount of money? There were previous reports in previous videos I've uploaded and spoke about Gyokeres and Osimhen Reportedly, the fee to secure them will be around 60 to 65 million. Is that a price that you guys are happy to pay for someone like Gyokeres? And do you feel like we have the pull, now we've qualified for the Champions League, to bring him to Stamford Bridge? Let me know your thoughts down below. Miguel Delaney has reported that Chelsea have discussed a move for Hugo Ekitike. They are now actively targeting a striker and he's high on their list, though they have also significant interest in Victor Gyokeres and Liam Delap. Now, we spoke about Ekitike in a previous video, so if you haven't watched that, feel free to go check it out. I spoke about this before. I think he's a good striker. I think his return this season was 22 goals, 12 assists across all comps in like 48 games. That is a massive improvement to our current number 9, Nicholas Jackson, in terms of return. My only concern personally is I feel like he lacks the pace to play in the Premier League, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. The other thing that kind of goes against me wanting to get someone like Ekitike is that I think it was at Frankfurt, they're asking anywhere between 67 to 84 million pounds. That is a lot of money, in my opinion, for a player of his age and ability. When you compare it to someone like Victor Gyokeres or Victor Osimhen, who you can get for a bit cheaper, around that 60, 65 million, pay more in wages, more doubt, right? You're more likely going to be paying more in wages, but their goal returns are insane for the last 3 or 4 years, and you can't deny that. Like, you just can't. I think Ekitike is a fantastic player, and if we were to buy him, I would love to see him as a rotated squad player. But I also don't want to see Chelsea spend £84 million on a Bundesliga striker to be our main number 9, when Chelsea specifically have a really poor history with Bundesliga players. They never perform. It never translates. Havertz, Nkunku, Werner, they had their roles, right? They had their roles. They did what they did, regardless of what your views are. Like, I still love Timo Werner because he worked hard. It never fell for him. Right? But he worked hard, and I like that. Havertz, mate, we didn't even know where to play him. No one knows where to play him. 10, 9, out left, out right, like second striker, whatever. No one really knows his position. And we still managed to cash in on him, passing him on to Arsenal, so fair enough. Nkunku had the world at his feet when we signed him, had a long injury, and it just hasn't worked out for him. So is it going to be a case of that? Ekitike, we signed him for a big money move. He comes from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. It doesn't quite translate. We're then stuck with a massive amount of money on the back of this player, which isn't fair on him because he just wants to move. He doesn't see the transfer fee. It's between the two clubs. If we could get him for a little bit lower, and we buy another striker to have in rotation, I'd be more than happy with that because he's proven that he can score goals, right? And assist goals in that system. Like I said, my only concern is he lacks a little bit of pace compared to the other number 9s that we are in talks with. But his link-up play's good. He can finish with both feet. He's all right in the air. So it'd be interesting to know your thoughts on Ekitike. Do you rate him? Would you bring him in for around that money of 67 or 84 million? Or would you rather concentrate on someone like Gyokeres or Osimhen, or even a Delap who's going to be considerably less? Let me know your thoughts down below. Ben Jacobs has reported that Chelsea held a positive talks with Liam Delap last week and can now offer him Champions League football. He then goes on to say that Chelsea have held positive talks with Liam Delap, and Delap is expected to inform interested clubs of his choice this week. This is where things start to heat up a little because, look, we've been linked with Delap for months and months and months. We've been leading the race and being the favourites for Delap to move to for months and months and months. There was briefly a spell where Delap wanted to go to United. I do not see that happening now. I really do not see that happening now with the way that United have ended this season. Even though United is this historically massive club, like I said previously in the video, I just feel they're at a different stage and people are starting to reevaluate how good they really are currently. There is a lot of work that needs to be done at that club. Does Delap want to be playing for a club like that? I very much doubt it. When it comes to Chelsea and Delap, like I said, we've been linked with him. We've been leading the race for a long time. I expect Chelsea to sign Liam Delap. I really, really do. And the one thing that I'm hoping is if we sign Delap, we still go out there and look for an absolute world-class number 9. Because I don't think Delap is the answer in terms of that's the number 9, tick the box, done. I feel like he would definitely improve the squad, again, in rotation. I still think that, look, we're playing with the big boys next year. We've got buckets of money now because of the financial stuff coming in, the front of shirt sponsor, the Champions League, the Club World Cup. We're going to have the money. We're going to be offloading players to raise funds. We're going to have a lot of headroom financially. Go and buy me an absolute bagsman. Get me a Gyokeres. Get me an Osimhen. Get me someone who can guarantee me goals. That is what we want. I wouldn't be mad if we signed Delap. I think the writing's on the wall at this point. I think it's a matter of, weeks before we see a here we go, Liam Delap to Chelsea. My only concern is I don't want him to be the sole number 9 focal point. Obviously, he's going to want to play as many minutes as possible. And I feel like, with the way Enzo Maresca is, he's going to rotate them 9s when they're in his system and his squad. He's going to rotate them. Do you see Jackson being the out-and-out number 9 with someone like Delap coming in? I don't. Do you think Jackson could play on the left-hand side potentially a little more next season? Potentially. I could see that. I could see that happening more. Especially if we go buy an absolute bagsman and then we have Delap in rotation. Unbelievable that would be, to have someone like Delap to come on, play his role and score goals throughout the season when we need them, give a different dynamic, but still have that focal point of a Gyokeres or an Osimhen, because those players are perfect for Chelsea's profile. What we need, we just need someone to stand there and score goals, someone who's good in the air, someone to get on the end of all these chances that we create. And then when you bring someone like Liam Delap in, he's still young, he's still learning on the job, he's got 1 season of the Prem under his belt, he scored 12 goals, which is a good return for a retired club, a relegated club, but he's still learning on the job, he's still developing. If you stick him as our sole number 9, I think there's an insane amount of pressure to stick on his head, just like we've done with Jackson in the past 2 seasons. With Jackson, this is what his 3rd or 4th professional season as a footballer, right? He played left wing for Valencia. We've converted him as a 9. I think he's done okay. Like when you take the 2 seasons together, he's done okay. Could have done a lot better, yes. Could have done a lot worse, but he's done all right. He's done okay, but it's not good enough for what we need. Especially going into next season with the Champions League and all these competitions starting up again. If you had someone like Delap and Jackson, I see how that could work, as long as you have a bagsman. Because between those 3, you've got Jackson who can play on the left-hand side, he can also play as the 9. You've got Delap who is going to be the number 9. You need an absolute gunman, an absolute bagsman as that number 9, so then you can rotate the 3. Because I think if you could do that, you'll absolutely transform Chelsea. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below about Liam Delap. Are you sold? Are you not with Delap? Do you see him as the focal number 9? Do you see him as a squad rotation player? Let me know your thoughts down below. And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that. You are a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail that appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.